Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Adelaide Cottage. The current home of Prince William and Kate Middleton.
Ah, yes. Adelaide Cottage. It's been generating quite a buzz, hasn't it?
It really has. And, we all love a little peek into celebrity homes, but when it's the royals, well, that curiosity goes into overdrive.
I can definitely understand that.
So today, we'll be looking at a variety of sources, from architectural details to interior photos, and even a bit of history, to try to uncover what makes this cottage so special.
Sounds like a fascinating deep dive.
I think so, too. So where should we begin?
Well, I think the most intriguing thing about Adelaide Cottage is that this royal residence was chosen for its, shall we say, normalcy?
Okay, that's interesting. Normalcy.
Yes. I mean, think about it. The Wales family actually chose to move away from the grandeur of Kensington Palace
Right.
to give their children a more grounded upbringing. Adelaide Cottage, with all its royal connections, offers them a bit more privacy and a break from the spotlight.
So it's less about the cottage itself and more about the lifestyle it allows.
Precisely. The location plays a huge role here. Adelaide Cottage is actually nestled within Windsor Home Park, which is a massive 655 acres of private parkland. It's like having a gigantic private backyard.
Oh, wow. I can only imagine.
Right. But here's the thing. They also get the best of both worlds. They have all this privacy, but they're also just a short walk from Windsor Castle, so they're still close to family and official duties. It's that balance, you know?
Yeah, so it's not just about escaping the city. It's about a very specific location within the royal fold.
Exactly. And that idea of blending history and modern practicality, that extends to the cottage itself. It was originally built in 1831
Wow.
for Queen Adelaide, King William V's wife.
Oh, so it's a royal love nest turned family home. I love it.
It is, although there were some significant renovations done back in 2015.
Oh, of course.
Which brought in some modern amenities while still preserving the historical charm. We're looking at a property that's estimated to be around 1.75 million, spanning about 1,600 square feet.
Okay, so not exactly modest by any means, but for a royal residence, it's actually a surprisingly manageable size, isn't it?
It is. I think it really speaks to a conscious decision, focusing more on that cozy comfort rather than sprawling opulence.
Right. Well, I'm dying to get to the visuals.
Yeah.
Let's start with the fairy tale exterior. Everyone's been swooning over it.
Oh, it's lovely. Picture this. A charming light pink facade with those crisp white Gothic details. You've got ornamental chimneys that add a really whimsical touch. And that steeply pitched roofline just screams storybook cottage.
It really does sound like something out of a period drama.
Hmm.
But was there a reason for choosing this style?
Well, it's interesting because it really plays on that traditional English countryside aesthetic, which I think aligns with the Wales's desire for a more normal life. They're very deliberately moving away from those grand palaces.
Well, even the architectural style is sending a message. I love that. What awaits us beyond those charming doors?
Get ready for a visual feast. The interiors are all about blending opulence with practicality, which reflects both their royal status and their desire for a comfortable family home. We'll see those grand spaces, perfect for entertaining dignitaries, but also those cozy corners ideal for a family movie night.
That sounds like the dream, right? A home that can so seamlessly transition from formal events to casual family time. How did they achieve that?
Well, let's start with the formal living room. This is where that royal elegance truly shines. Pastel tones, gilded furniture, and a magnificent Greco-Egyptian marble fireplace as a centerpiece.
Oh, I bet that fireplace could tell some stories. What kind of furniture?
Think plush armchairs, antique side tables, those framed portraits that just add that touch of personal history. It's the type of space where you can imagine diplomats gathering for afternoon tea.
It sounds elegant, but does it ever feel too formal for everyday living?
That's where the genius of the design comes in. They've contrasted that grandeur with a kitchen that just exudes rustic charm.
Okay, a royal rustic kitchen. What's
Oh.
that like?
Picture exposed wooden beams, muted green cabinetry, a farmhouse-style sink. It's all about warmth and practicality. You've got terracotta tiles underfoot and a small wooden dining table tucked away in a corner, perfect for casual meals.
So it really is the heart of the home, where the family can gather for breakfast or a quick bite after playing in the garden.
Exactly.
I love how they've managed to create this contrast. It doesn't feel jarring or disjointed at all.
It's the beauty of Adelaide Cottage. It manages to seamlessly blend these different styles to create a home that's both grand and grounded, elegant and inviting.
All right, we've covered the public and private spaces, But what about the bedrooms? What can we learn about their personal style from those spaces?
Well, the bedrooms offer a fascinating glimpse into how they've balanced royal heritage with those personal touches. One of the bedrooms features a stunning Victorian-style canopy bed draped in these floral fabrics. It's like stepping back in time.
Ooh, that sounds dreamy.
It is. And another bedroom takes on more of an artistic vibe. You've got walls adorned with paintings, including a large religious piece above the fireplace.
So even in the private spaces, they've managed to blend that sense of history and personal expression.
Exactly.
It's like they've created a home that tells their story.
You've got it. And we can't forget about that garden. Those French doors in the photos just hint at this beautiful, seamless connection between the interior and the
Oh,
surroundings.
yes. Tell me more about that indoor-outdoor flow. I feel like it's key in creating that sense of tranquility we've been talking about.
Absolutely. Imagine stepping out from those French doors onto a perfectly manicured lawn with a central fountain as the focal point. Lush greenery surrounding the cottage, connecting it to the natural beauty of Windsor Home Park.
It sounds idyllic. I could just imagine them all enjoying afternoon tea on the lawn, the kids chasing butterflies. It's like a scene out of a storybook.
It is, and that's the magic of Adelaide Cottage, isn't it? It allows us to glimpse into a world that seems both fairy tale-like and surprisingly relatable.
It really does.
It does. And speaking of grandeur, we can't forget that grand lounge. With those incredible tapestries,
Oh, yes.
the photos, they just don't do it justice.
They really don't.
So imagine stepping into a room dominated by this monumental stone fireplace, with large wall tapestries depicting these incredible historical scenes. You're immediately transported to another era.
Wow. What's the overall vibe? Like, what kind of atmosphere does it have?
It's definitely the most formal room in the cottage. It's stately, dramatic, but still, with this touch of warmth, you've got these tall, carved columns that frame the room. The furniture leans towards these earthy tones, plush armchairs, cozy sofas, and rich rugs. It's a space where you can imagine them gathering for formal occasions, or even, hosting those intimate meetings with world leaders.
So it commands respect, but it still feels inviting.
Yes.
I like that.
And then there's the ceiling.
Oh, yes. We have to talk about that gilt dolphin ceiling.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it.
Yeah. It's truly unique. You've got this ornate plasterwork, gilded accents, and then these playful dolphin motifs just swimming across the ceiling.
It's so whimsical. You wouldn't expect to find something like that in a royal residence.
Exactly. It shows their personality, right?
Yeah.
It breaks away from what's expected. It's those little touches that make Adelaide Cottage so special.
It really does.
Yeah.
As we're talking about all these rooms and design elements, it's clear that Adelaide Cottage isn't just following trends, it's setting them. This blend of charm, modern comfort, and unique personal touches feels incredibly fresh and inspiring.
Absolutely. It embodies this whole design philosophy that values beauty, functionality, history, present-day living.
Yeah.
It's about creating spaces that tell a story, that evoke emotion, and most importantly, feel personal.
And that's something that we can all aspire to. Whether we live in a sprawling mansion or a cozy apartment,
Right.
it's about making our homes reflect who we are,
Exactly.
what we value.
It's about being intentional with our design choices, choosing things that we love, and creating spaces that feel authentic to our lives.
Okay, I'm already feeling inspired to redecorate. But before we get carried away, let's talk practicality. What are some key takeaways from Adelaide Cottage that our listeners can actually apply to their own homes?
That's a great point. And, it doesn't have to require a royal budget or a historic property to achieve this look.
Okay, give us the insider scoop. What are some achievable ways to bring that Adelaide Cottage magic into our own lives?
Well, first, consider incorporating some vintage or antique pieces into your decor. It could be a statement furniture piece, a collection of old books, or even some vintage artwork.
I love that.
These items just add character, a sense of history, and a touch of timeless elegance to any space.
It's like bringing a piece of the past into the present.
Exactly. And when it comes to color palettes, think about using soft, muted tones, especially in the bedrooms and living spaces. These colors create a sense of calm and serenity. Then you can layer in bolder accents through artwork, textiles, or decorative objects.
So it's about creating that backdrop that's soothing and sophisticated.
Exactly. And then never underestimate the power of natural light. Maximize the amount of natural light in your home by using sheer curtains or blinds. Add mirrors to reflect light and keep those windows clear. It brightens a space, boosts your mood, and makes it feel more spacious.
It's like inviting the outdoors in.
Exactly. And speaking of the outdoors, consider creating a seamless transition between your indoor and outdoor spaces. This could be as simple as adding some potted plants to your patio or even installing French doors leading out to a garden.
I think that connection to nature is so crucial.
It is.
It creates a flow between our homes and the outside.
Absolutely. And finally, most importantly, don't be afraid to personalize your space. Adelaide Cottage is full of personal touches. Family photos, artwork, things that reflect the residents' interests.
So infuse your home with your personality, your passions.
Exactly. Whether it's travel souvenirs, your favorite books, a cozy throw blanket, make sure your home reflects who you are and what you love.
Because a home should be a reflection of the people who live there.
Yes.
It shouldn't just be a perfectly styled showroom. It's about creating a space that feels authentic and welcoming.
You got it. And remember, creating a home you love is an ongoing journey. It's about experimenting, evolving, and just finding what brings you joy.
Speaking of journeys, I think it's time to address some of those burning questions our listeners have about Adelaide Cottage.
Yeah.
Because, let's be real, this royal residence has sparked a lot of curiosity.
Absolutely. People are always fascinated by the royals, especially their homes. Let's dive into those frequently asked questions.
All right, let's start with the basics. Where exactly is Adelaide Cottage located?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, it's nestled within the sprawling Windsor Home Park in Berkshire, so it offers that perfect mix of privacy and proximity to royal life.
But what about the exact address?
Well, for security reasons, the exact address is kept private. Privacy is key, especially for a family with young children.
That makes sense. Everyone deserves a sanctuary, even royals. Okay, how much is this royal cottage actually worth?
While the exact figure isn't public, similar properties in the Windsor area are valued anywhere from £500,000 to over £1 million.
A royal price tag indeed. What prompted William and Kate to make the move? There must have been some pretty compelling reasons to leave Kensington Palace.
Well, from what we understand, it really boils down to a desire for a more private and grounded upbringing for their children. They want to create a sense of normalcy away from the spotlight of London. And of course, being closer to the Queen and other family members at Windsor Castle was a big factor.
It's a reminder that they are a family at the end of the day, just like any other, looking for some balance and togetherness.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between duty and family. And it seems like Adelaide Cottage offers that perfect environment for that.
Now, on a more practical note, can the public visit Adelaide Cottage?
Unfortunately not. It is a private residence, so no tours or public access.
Well, that's understandable. Everyone deserves their privacy, even royals. But for those of us who are curious, we'll just have to admire the photos and let our imaginations run wild.
And you never know. Maybe one day we'll get a glimpse through a televised interview or a special feature.
Fingers crossed. But in the meantime, there's certainly a lot we can take away from their design choices and the overall philosophy behind Adelaide Cottage. It's a reminder that creating a beautiful and meaningful home is within everyone's reach. It's amazing, Adelaide Cottage. It manages to be aspirational and relatable all at the same time. It's this royal residence, but it also feels like a home that so many of us could draw inspiration from.
I think you've hit a key point there. It really speaks to how the Wales family have curated this space, blending those elements of history, modern design, personal touches to create something truly unique.
And I think it reflects a larger trend that we're seeing in home design in general, this movement away from purely opulent or overly formal aesthetics towards something that's more grounded, authentic, nature-inspired.
It's about creating spaces that really nurture the soul and reflect how we actually live. Adelaide Cottage, it really embodies that perfectly. Those exposed wooden beams in the kitchen, the terracotta tiles, that farmhouse sink, they all bring a sense of warmth and grounding to the space.
It's that reminder that even in a royal residence, comfort and practicality are still so important. It's about creating a space that feels lived in and loved.
Exactly. And then on the other hand, you have those grand fireplaces, the intricate ceiling details, the antique furniture. All those elements speak to that history and royal heritage.
It's that juxtaposition, isn't it?
It is.
The rustic and the regal coming together to create this harmonious, inviting space.
Right, and we can't forget that seamless connection to nature. Those French doors opening up to the lawn, the views of the surrounding parkland. It's all about inviting the outdoors in and creating that sense of tranquility.
It's like they've created a sanctuary within a sanctuary.
It is.
They have the privacy and seclusion of the Windsor estate, and then within that, Adelaide Cottage, which is its own haven, a haven of peace and beauty.
It shows the power of intentional design, doesn't it?
Mhm.
By curating the space, they've really fostered an environment of well-being and connection.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what is the one big takeaway you hope our listeners glean from exploring Adelaide Cottage?
I think it's that creating a beautiful and meaningful home isn't about trends. It's not about trying to copy someone else's style. It's about being true to yourself,
Yes.
incorporating things you love, creating a space that reflects your values and your aspirations.
It's about making your home an extension of yourself.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
that is something that is within everyone's reach, no matter the budget or the square footage, whether it's adding a few personal touches, incorporating natural elements, or just decluttering and creating that sense of calm. There are so many ways to make our homes more reflective of who we are and how we want to live.
It's about creating a space that nurtures our souls and inspires us to live our best lives.
Well said.
Well, listeners, we've explored the history, the architecture, the design, the lifestyle behind Adelaide Cottage. We've gleaned inspiration from this unique blend of royal grandeur and family-friendly practicality. We've uncovered design tips that can be applied to any home, and most importantly, we've been reminded that creating a home we love is an ongoing journey of self-discovery and expression.
So keep exploring, keep experimenting, keep creating spaces that spark joy.
Until next time, happy decorating.